Shalom, shalom. Israel's brother Zaba. Y'all coming back at you with another cold cut. Like to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Right? Double honors to the men out there on the highways and byways, pushing his truth and honesty and sincerity. Right? The mighty Aqua, guiding the households, reverencing their husbands in these last days, raising up their children according to the law, statutes, commandments. And then the mighty children as well, keeping the laws, abiding in their parents' households, abstaining from the peer pressure of this evil world. Shalom, shalom. It's going to be a quick cold cut going into having godly men and women and persons around you at all times, man. That will help you influence your walk in this truth, man. Right? That will help you influence your walk in this truth. You don't understand that there's spirits on everybody around you, right? And you want to be surrounded with the correct spirits, man. You can't be walking with the ungodly in these last days, man. All right, let me get a precept. All right, let me get one precept. All right, you can't be walking with, brothers and that are unequally yoked. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and 13. And I start verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? So you can't be equally yoked with unbelievers. What fellowship, you having, you trying to talk about the law, statutes, commandments. And the brother say, yeah, that's all good, but you trying to smoke or what? And he said, well, hold on, you can't smoke. And then now it's a big contention, and guess what? Y'all spirits is just not together, right? And it says, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion have light with darkness? And you sitting at the table with light and darkness, man. You have light sitting at the table with darkness, darkness at the table with light. That's what's it called? Confusion, right? It's out of order. Or what concord have Hamashiach with Belial? Belial means foolishness. You have a man of wisdom with a man of foolishness, right? And it says, or what part he hath that believeth with the infidel. So you believe in the gospel, then you have a man that's an atheist. You see that all the time. People, she believes in God, I respect that, but I don't believe in God. What do y'all talk about then? How are y'all compatible? It makes no sense. Let me get this in Proverbs, man. All right, get this in Proverbs real quick. See if I can find this. Because it's always going to be contention, man. All right. It's always going to be contention. Right? Okay. This is the book of Proverbs. It's like you got it, King. I'm going to find this precept.
Yeah, it's a saying in the world saying birds of a feather flock together. So you want to know what type of people you have around you. Right, let me get this precept. This classic. It's Amos chapter 3 and verse 3. It says, can two walk together except they be agreed? So the Lord said, can two walk together except they be on one accord, one mindset? And again, like I said, that saying in the world, birds of a feather flock together. Gang members hang with gang members. Rich people hang with rich people. Righteous men hang with righteous men. Righteous women hang with righteous women. Right? And King David, he was what? He was a righteous man. So let's get Psalms chapter 119 and verse number 62. And King David, everybody that King David hung out with feared the Most High. King David wasn't hanging out with wicked Negroes all day and staying up late, going to the club, etc. No, King David was around men that were on fire for the Most High, that feared the Lord. It's Psalms 119 and 63.
Right.
It says, I am a companion of all them that fear the Lord and of them that keep thy precepts. So King David said he's around men that fears the Most High and that keeps the Lord's precepts. Let me get this real quick in Sirach chapter 37 and verse 12. Right? And when you're around godly men, I mean, you have no choice but to be on fire. I mean, he's going to keep you on point. You're going to keep him on point. And that's beautiful. And that's a beautiful thing, being around godly men, godly discord, right? Having a godly family, unity,
right,
etc. Right? Let's Sirach chapter 37 and verse number 12. It says, be continually with a godly man whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. So the Lord said you want to have a godly man around you, right? And a godly man is gonna help you, push you to serve the Most High. Because like the brother made an example, you can't have somebody in the world, you hang out with them all day, because slowly those attributes that he has is gonna start hopping on you. those spirits that he deals with, how he talks, how he moves, that's slowly gonna start happening on you, right? But if you're if you're around a man, he getting up early in the morning, reading, he's studying, he reproving you, right? He correcting you, he's showing brotherly love to you. Again, those spirits is gonna hop on each other. Then you're gonna do the same thing, right? And then Ecclesiastes, let me get that real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Next thing you know, right? It's Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and 9. It says, two are better than one because they have a good reward of their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to lift him up. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? Right? So again, you can't be by yourself in this thing. Yahweh Shai, he had men around him. Nehemiah, King David, right? All the righteous men, they had somebody to guide and to push them, right? We don't know, and it says, verse number 11. Again, it's like a verse, let me jump down. Verse 13. Better is a poor, verse 12. And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. And a third fold cord is not quickly broken. And again, if you have 3 or 2 other righteous men round about you, and the Lord said that third fold cord is not quickly broken. And again, that just shows the effect of having a godly men around you, a righteous man that's on fire. Because again, you have no choice but to be on fire.
Right.
Right, you got it.
Right, and then you understand something too. Like the brother was saying, you're gonna be on fire. But if you don't have a righteous man around you, if you always trying to hang with your old friends in the world, you know, you always trying to be with them all the time, every single day, like y'all did in high school, trying to see if y'all can laugh the same. And no, it's not gonna be there anymore. Brothers can even attest, when you come into this truth, the spirit not there no more, man. Because now you want to talk about something different. You want to talk about righteousness all day. They want to talk about wickedness. And then when they start to talk about wickedness, it starts to make your ears cringe, right? That's why the Lord said in Proverbs chapter 28, verse 4, they that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. So if you forsake the law, you're going to praise the wicked. You're going to start looking at Lil Durk, G Herbo, and all these other men and say, you know, what I want to be like that. I like that right there, right? You're gonna be kind of following them. But if you keep the laws, you're gonna be like, damn, that's not right. You're gonna start contending with the wicked. There's gonna be more arguments. There's gonna be more fights. There's gonna be a lot of debates. There's gonna be a lot of these different things, man. Right? So when you keep the law, you're gonna start contending with them. I mean, let me go to the book of Slakia, the book of 2 Peter. Right, this is 2 Peter chapter 3. And I start at verse. This is 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 18. I start at verse 13. And it says, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, talking about the unrighteousness, right? As they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. So there's men that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. There are men that count it pleasure to talk about evil things, man. They sport themselves with their own deceivings. It's going to say that. Spots they are in blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you. Man, they have fun talking about wickedness. They get off on it. While they feast with you, while you trying to keep the commandments, they're having fun talking about that concert they just came from where he's popped all types of pills. Right? And it says, having eyes full of adultery that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, a heart that hath exercised with covetous practices. Cursed children. See that? The Lord called these men cursed children. That always just want to do what they do, sporting themselves with talks of unrighteousness, man, while they feast with you. What do you have to do around them, man? Let me go to the book of Sirach 13. It's the book of Sirach chapter 13 and verse 20. I'll start at verse 16. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. What fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb? so the sinner with the godly. So why do you have a lamb with a wolf? They're just gonna eat each other. They're not gonna hang out. They're not gonna go to the water together and talk about what happened back at the farm. That's not happening, right? That's the so is the sinner with the godly, right? What fellowship happens like it? What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. So the Lord said, basically, be with your own people, be with your own life. You got ravens with the raven. Even all birds don't hang around each other, man. You're not gonna have the bald eagle hang out with the ravens. The ravens hanging out with the red robins. New York. You're not gonna have Chicago with New York. I'm just playing. Right. But no, back to the point, man. Everybody can source to their alike, man. You know, that's how we gotta be in these last days. If you really want to, get to this kingdom, man, you gotta.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 6, and verse number 14. It says, start at verse 13. It says, separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. So in context, this enemy is really somebody of your own people. And again, you don't want to, you know somebody after you. They don't like you, right? They don't want to hang out with you, but yet you still try to take hold of them and try to, brother, come on, you can't be forcing friendships, right? Let me read that again. The Lord said, separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. And you got to take heed of your friends. Again, your friends are the people, the men and the women that are in this truth, that diligently seek the Most High and that sincere. Your enemies is Jake that want to fight you in the world for you being in this truth. You can't go in the world and try to pull a brother in, and you trying to mix the truth with the world, and you trying to mingle up some type of new friendship, and you bound your neck to a man that's in the world all because you want to be friends. No, the Lord said what again? The Lord said, Salaki, and take heed of thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure. So if you find a faithful friend, then you found a treasure, right? And again, you don't find a treasure just anywhere. You can't go to New York and it's just a treasure, right, in the reserve park, and you grab it and you pull off. Or you can't go to God knows where, and you walk and you just find some treasure. No, treasure is hard to find. The Lord said, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found one hath found a treasure. Nothing doth contravail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear Yahweh shall find him. Right? And if you fear the Most High, you're gonna find that faithful friend. That friend is gonna pray for you, fast with you. That friend is gonna make sure that that friend is gonna make sure that you're straight. Right? And that's how Yahweh Shah was with his friends and the disciples. Let's get Matthew the 26th chapter. Right? They prayed for one another. They looked out for one another. Right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26, and verse number 36. It says, then cometh Yahweh Shai with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. So Yahweh Shai told the disciples, hey, sit right here while I go and pray. It says, then said he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. So when Yahweh Shah was low in the spirit, he did what? He went to his friends, right? He went to his day ones, and he said, sit here and watch with me. Right? Sit here and watch with me while I go yonder and pray. And that's a real friend. A real friend is going to go with you. He's going to sit with you, and he's going to make sure that you're good through the spirit. Right, let's go to the book of Job. Let's find this quick precept. Let's go to the book of Job, the second chapter. Let's do the second chapter. It's the book of Job, chapter 2 and verse. Let's see. You got it.
Right? This is Proverbs chapter 17, and I'm gonna start at verse 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. So a friend is going to love at all times, man. I mean, at the end of the day, the Lord said in John 15 and 15, if that's your real friend, you're going to die for that man. Are you going to die for a person in the world? Scarcely a man would die for a righteous man. Romans chapter 5 tells you that, man. But a friend, he's born for adversity. He's born to go through the things that you're going to go through. What man is going to know what it feels like to slip up and fall down in this truth and not serve your God as hard as you think you can for righteousness, man? A person in the world not going to understand that. A person in the world walking up and down, Tasha, these women that, you know, Jay be trying to chase in the world, you know, that's be wearing anything, you know, damn, the men that women try to seek as husbands in this world. You can't just talk to them about sinning against your God, man. But a true friend is going to be born for adversity, but y'all have to have the same type of mind. Y'all have to have the same type of mindset. Actually, let me go to 1 Samuel, man. Chapter 18. How was Jonathan to David? This 1 Samuel chapter 20. This 1 Samuel chapter 20 and 16. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, let the Lord even require at the hand of David's enemies. And Jonathan caused David to swear again because he loved him. For he loved him as he loved his own soul. You can't love anybody like you love your own soul. I mean, there's some brothers that don't even love their moms and dads like they love their own soul. Right. But you love your brother so much like you loved yourself, man. When you see him, you see you. You know, that's a strong bond. But you can't have that just with anybody. Right. You got to have that brother around you that just, he honest. You know, he honest. He trustworthy, man. And you know when things get hard, you're going to go to war for you. You know, and also another thing, just because he got fringes on, and just because he say Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barak to you, he know a little bit of Hebrew, that don't mean that's your brother, bro. That don't mean I love you. Hey, you got to show that, man. You know, you got a lot of brothers that's unawares in this thing, man. I mean, when we talk about the 2/3, and you got brothers with fringes and sisters with hair wraps, it's going to die too. You know, so in this truth, you got to even examine the people in this truth, man. But once you got that person that's born for adversity, that got the same mindset as you, right, that will always be there for you, that actually calls you, that actually checks in on you, that actually cares about the situation you're going through, right. They don't talk about you behind your back, man. Oh, man, that brother, man, he going through this, man. I told you about that brother. That brother, this, that, and the third. And you say, hey, I didn't see, I did peep the signs. But you never said nothing to him, man. You never called him. You never see how he was, man. You don't even know what he's going through. That's not your brother, man. Right? Yeah, he got fringes on. Yeah, you may know him for a period, but that's not your brother, man. Right? Your brother's the one that's going to love you as he loves your own soul. Right? So let me get another precept, man. That's what we got to understand. Right? We gotta let me go to Psalms 37 and 37. It says, Psalms chapter 37 and verse 37. Mark the perfect man and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. What does it mean to mark somebody? Take note of that man. See what he does. Right? Guess what? The end of that man is peace, man. The Lord said follow in his footsteps, man. Didn't the Lord say in Sirach, I believe 37, where the footsteps of his door, man? Right, let me get that. Right? It's the book of Sirach. Chapter 37. See if this is what I want. Gotta wear the footstep of his door. Right? But basically, just going into, hey, man, you want to follow after righteous men that's doing the things that are alongside, man. Right? Because if you don't, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be led, you're going to be led into a way where you're going to fall. Matter of fact, let me get this. This is Sirach 32 and 20. Go not in a way where thou mayest fall, and stumble not against the stones. So you going in a way where you mayest fall is trying to go around certain people that you know that's going to do evil. You, brother, you know that there's women and men doing ungodly things in that club. But you want to go because your friend want to take you out. You haven't seen him in 3 years. But you know you're about to go in the way where you may fall. Why put yourself in a position around sin? You making your temptations a lot harder. And you're going to start stumbling amongst the stones. Either you can walk down that pathway of concrete, and you get to, you know, kind of walk, or you get to walk up the hill, but you can't stumble, man. So why would you choose to walk up that damn hill, man? Talk about, I ain't gonna fall, but you gonna fall, brother. And now who you gonna blame? Right, but you got it. Sirach 6 and 36. Come on, through it. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 36. Come through water. And it says, if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy footsteps wear the steps of his door. So the Lord said, if you get a man of understanding, get you betimes unto him, meaning get next to this man. Start talking to this man a little bit. You want that man on your team, man. Right? Brothers got to get good at building teams with righteous brothers. You need to get that man on your team. You need to talk to him a little bit more. Right? You need to understand who he is and what drives him. Right? Because understanding that, you're going to understand how hard he's serving the Lord. You be like, all right, I can apply that to my life too, man. You can learn from these different men.
All right.
Right? You got it.
This is the book of Job, chapter 2. This book of Job, chapter 2, and verse number 12. So to verse 11, it says, and when Job's 3 friends heard of all the evil that was come upon him, they came every one from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite, for they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him. And that's a real friend. A real friend is going to stop what they're doing. They see that you're down in the spirit, and they're going to come mourn and comfort with you. A real friend, he's not going to say, yes, that nigga off today. All praises. That's wicked.
Right.
That's off. A real friend is going to come and mourn with you. Right? We didn't know it. It says, verse 12, and they lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not. They lifted their voice and wept, and they rent everyone his mantle and sprinkled dust upon their heads toward heaven. So they sat down with them upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights.
Right. And
none spake a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great. And they said Job was so bad, he didn't even look like himself. You know, sometimes you just so low in the spirit, you don't even want to talk. Those men, they understood that, and they came up to him. They didn't say a word. They knew he wasn't trying to hear nothing. They just sat there and chilled with him until he felt like he was able to say something again. Because you read Job, the first chapter, all hell broke loose. Right? Job immediately went into a state of depression. And his friends, what did they do? They came up and they mourned with them. They kept company with him until he was okay. And that's a real friend. Right, let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse number 23. It says, the poor useth entreaties, but the rich answer rough. A man that hath friends must shew himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Yeah, so you may have a lot of friends, but it's that one friend, he sticks closer than a brother. Right? And again, that goes back to Sirach, the 6th chapter. It's not easy finding a friend. It's like finding treasures, right? Finding a faithful friend. And that's what the Lord said. It's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. A godly friend. You can't have a nigga friend that sticks closer than a brother, because he's going to have you go off. No, a real friend is going to be on point and have you keep the laws, the statutes, the commandments, the ordinances of the Most High. Right? A real friend is going to pray for you.
Right.
Pray for your household. Let me get this last precept. This Colossians chapter 1 and verse 3. It says, we give thanks to God and the Father of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, praying always for you. And that's the goal, is to pray always for your brother. Right? Pray always for your sister, for the household, for your brother's household. Again, just praying always in all seasons. Right? For your family. Jumping down to verse number 9. It says, for this cause, we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you. So Paul said he didn't cease to stop praying for them. We didn't know it says, and to desire that ye might be filled with the knowledge of his will, and all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that ye may walk worthily of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful and very good, work and increasing in the knowledge of God. So Paul, he prayed always for the churches, man. Right? And again, that's real love. That's a real brother. Right? But you got it.
That's right. And a real brother gonna tell you the truth. A real brother not gonna always lie to you. He not gonna tell you what you want to hear. Right? What do you think about doing this? I agree. That's a great idea. Right? Well, you know, I was thinking about, you know, having 3 women come back over tonight and go over the precepts at 3 a.m. I was thinking about having 3 women come back at 3 a.m. They said they was coming from the club, but they really wanted to know how much to know about the Israelites. They said, you know, they wanted me to open my sword up to them. Oh, that's a great idea, man. I like that. Right? You should do that. Can I come? Right? You know, you bring in wine, you bring in frankincense and myrrh. Brother, you gonna go off. Big time. Right? That you can't have a brother like that, man. That's always just saying yes to you.
Yeah.
Right? You got somebody tell you the truth, man. This Job chapter 4 and verse 3. Now, this is what Job's friend said to this Eliphaz the Temanite. This is what he told Job, man. Job chapter 4 and verse 3. Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Thy words have upholden him that was fallen, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest, it touches thee, and thou art troubled. Is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy uprightness of thy ways, and thy hope? Right? So they even tell him, like, look, now you can't handle what you talking about. You can't handle what you was preaching to other people. He was getting on him, man. I mean, because Job was first in his own cause. Job thought he was right, but guess what the Lord said? This is Job chapter, this is Proverbs 18 and 17. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. So your neighbor's supposed to come and search you out and make sure that you sincere, to make sure that you right in what you're saying. Right? You first in your own cause, you may seem just. Okay, he's right. Damn, that actually happened to you, brother. And they actually said that to you. But his neighbor that was there, the witness, gonna say, well, hold on, that's not right, because this didn't happen. I was there, that, and the third. He gonna kind of correct him. That's what Job's friends was doing. They were searching Job out to make sure that he was sincere, and they found some things in him, man. And they told him the truth about it, man. Your brother gotta be able to tell you the truth. Your brother can't just be telling you anything, man. Lies all day. You got brothers that say, I love you, Ak. And they don't really love you, man. They're just saying it because it sounds good. But when it comes time to answer the phone, they don't answer the phone. When it's time to text, they don't text. You say Shabbat Shalom, and they say Shabbat Shalom next Thursday. It's next Thursday. They say Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, that triple. They respond from a question from last year. My bad, Ak. I was at work. What you mean you was at for a whole year, brother? It's crazy, right? But you got some brothers in the truth like that too. Right, and that's why you gotta be aware of these brothers, man. Right. We go to Matthew chapter 20. We go to Matthew chapter 26, and verse 48. It's talking about Judas. Now he that betrayed him gave them a son. Ooh, let me start at verse 46. I ain't gonna lie. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doeth betray me. You ever knew that somebody was about to lie to you, and they still lied to you? You knew that your man was about to lie to you. You know the truth. You even say, look, I know the truth. Just tell me the truth. Right? He already told me, so-and-so already declared it to me, and he still lied to your face like you stupid, man. Right? Verse 47. And Judas knows that the Lord knows that he's about to betray him. Behold, his hand that dippeth with me is about to betray me, paraphrasing, man. And Judas knew it was him. Verse 47. And while he had spake low, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude, and with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he, hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yahushua, said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. He still called him Master, and then kissed him while he's betraying him. Verse 50. And Yahushua said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahushua and took him. And Yahushua still called him friend at the end of the day. But these are the certain type of individuals that's in this truth, man. Right? These are certain individuals that he walked with the Lord, man. One of the 12, and the Lord had thousands of disciples. What you got?
Yeah. Like the brother was saying, you gotta be aware of friends. Yeah, you still have to take that one friend who's gonna reprove, rebuke, and correct you. That's Proverbs chapter 27 and verse number 5. It says, open rebuke is better than secret love, right? And that's real love right there. We can be able to rebuke the brother, and the brother take that correction. He take that chastisement, and y'all get closer through the spirit. Why? Because again, you rebuking that brother, and you could have saved his life, right? That brother could have that brother could have went off and did some type of iniquity, right? But you stopped, you rebuked them, you went through the precepts with them, you corrected them, and that's ultimate love right there. A lot of brothers, they like to be respected persons. A lot of brothers like to be shy. Well, that's that brother. I don't really want to say it right now. Ooh, ooh. Well, according to the Bible, the Lord said what? Let me read that again. Open rebuke is better than secret love, right? And again, no man wants that fake love around. No, real love is when you have to get on. You know what I'm saying? Just have to get on your brother sometimes. Whether he did something awful, he knows somebody that did something awful, etc. You have to get on your brother. You are your brother's keeper. We are our brothers and our sisters' keeper, right? And again, that love is gonna be that much stronger, because now you know, and now he knows that you guys had that genuine love towards each other. We can actually save that brother from death by correcting him and improving. Let's go to Sirach. This is Sirach chapter 20 and verse 1. It says, "There is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some men holdeth his tongue and is wise. It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly," right? And again, it's better to reprove than to shy away from it, right? Because again, you shying away, you're not breaking into the light. You keep it in the dark.
Right.
Eventually, something that's done in the dark is gonna come to light. It's either you cut it off right now with going through the precepts, or the Lord is gonna expose it. And again, that real genuine brotherly love, that's gonna cause a man to actually go to his brother one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Go through Matthew the 18th chapter, etc., verse 15 on down, and do the steps of a righteous man, and take the protocols of righteousness when it comes to going forth to your brother and correcting the brother.
All right.
Let's go to let me see. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19, the classic. Leviticus 19 and 17. "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him." So real love is rebuking your neighbor and not suffering sin upon him. And that's real love, right? If I'm, like brothers always say, if I'm about to eat a pork sandwich, this brother has all the right to them. What's that jujitsu movie like?
Yeah, then put you in a chokehold, man.
Yeah.
You gotta wrap him up, man.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? If a brother, he's about to damn freak off with a heathen, you may have to have a Phineas moment. You don't gotta slay the brother, but you gotta say some things, man, to do some things. Nevertheless, hey, you saving your brother's life. That's real love. Now he can say, well, why'd you do that? No, I wanted to feel the lust of the flesh, etc. Hey, but you know that you saved that man from death, and the Lord's gonna look upon that. Most High will. Right. And again, that's real brotherly love. You got it.
All right. This second Ezra chapter 12, and I start at verse 41. I start at verse 40. "And it came to pass when all the people saw the 7 days were past, and I come not again into the city, they gathered them all together from the least unto the greatest, and came unto me and said, What have we offended thee, and what have we done against thee, that thou hast forsaken us and sittest here in this place?" So they thought Ezra forsook them because he was out praying on the behalf of their people on Zion, and they were without Ezra for a long period of time. So all of them came together. Right, verse 42. "For all of the prophets thou only art left us as a cluster of the vintage, and as a candle in a dark place, and as a haven or ship preserved from the tempest. Are not the evils which are come to us sufficient? If thou hast forsaken us, how much better had it been for us if we all had also have been burnt in the midst of Zion? For we are not better than they that died there. And they wept with a loud voice. Then answered I them and said, Be of good comfort, O Israel, and be not heavy, thou house of Jacob." So they were worried that Ezra departed from them, because Ezra was a righteous man, and they knew that he was a light. But this is how Ezra responded to them. Right? He said, Be of good comfort, O Israel, and be not heavy, thou house of Jacob. For the highest have you in remembrance, and the mighty have not forgotten you in temptation. As for me, I have not forsaken you, neither am I departed from you, but am coming to this place to pray for the desolation of Zion, and that I might seek mercy for the low estate of your sanctuary, man. Right? And now go your way home, every man, and after these days will I come unto you. So Ezra went out for all those days to pray for the behalf of the down state of his people. He never forsook them, man. Right? But Ezra loved them so much even to do that, man. You see that? He prayed for the desolation of Zion. And they was worried that he left, man. He said, "You're a light in a dark place. Why would you forsake us?" He said, "Hey, don't think I forsook you, but I am trying to do good for you, man." And that's the type of spirit we need, when we're dealing with brotherly love.
It's the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 14. It says, "And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, Arise and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly, and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword." Right, so you read this chapter, Absalom, he was conjuring up all the hearts of the people to be able to overthrow the kingdom of David, which was King David's son. So his son is trying to get everybody to go against the king, and King David said, well, hold on, Absalom, he got power, we need to flee. Right, verse 15. "And the king's servants said unto the king, Behold, thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord the king shall," "my lord the king shall appoint." And what happened? King David's servants said, "Hey man, whatever you ready to do, we ready." Right? So King David's servants, hey, they was on go for King David.
Right.
Right? Whatever King David wanted to do in righteousness, hey, they was doing it. And again, that's a real friend. A real friend say, "Hey man, can you fast with me?" And he's saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna fast with you. What you trying to do right now? Can you pray with me? Can you study with me?" Etc. A real friend is gonna say, "Yeah, I can do that right now for you." Right? The same way how King David's servants, whatever King David was ready to do, hey, they was on it. Jumping down to verse 18. It says, "And all his servants passed on beside him, and all the Cherethites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Gittites, 600 men, which came after him, which came after him from Gath, passed on before the king. Then said the king to Itata, Atati the Gittite, Wherefore goest thou also with us? Return to thy place and abide with the king, for thou art a stranger and also an exile." So this man, right, he wanted to go with King David too. He said, "Hey, you know what I'm saying? The king making a move. Hey, I'm gonna make a move with the king." But King David said, well, hold on, you an exile, etc. You stay here, me and my servants. Hey, this is concerning us, right? But what did he say? Verse 20. "Whereas thou comest but yesterday, should I this day make thee go up and down with us? Seeing I go thither, I may return thou and take back thy brethren. Mercy, truth be with thee." So he kind of shunning them away.
All right.
Verse 21. It says, "And Atati answered the king and said, As Yahweh liveth, and as my lord the king liveth, surely in what place my lord the king shall be, whether in life," whether in death or in life, "even there also will thy servant be." He said, "Hey, look, man, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Whether through death or through life, hey, I'm going to be with you." And that's a real friend. He said, "Hey, look, king, whatever you going through, wherever you going, whatever hell you catch it, I'm going to be right there with you. Whether it's death in the spirit world or in life right here, I'm going to be with you." Right? And that's a real friend. That's why David, you know what I'm saying? That's why David said what he said in Psalms 119 and 63. Because he had men around him that actually feared the Most High and that genuinely loved him. And he genuinely loved his people. Right? And again, that's mighty to have somebody, you kind of pushing them away and say, "No, hey, I'm going to be with you to death and life, man." Right, you got it.
Right, and then that's the type of person you want on your team, like the brother said. Right, this is the type of men that David had in his army. This Nehemiah. This 2 Samuel chapter 12. Actually, it's this 2 Samuel chapter 11 and verse 6. "And David sent to Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did and how the people did and how the war prospered." So David, he's asking Uriah, like, how's the war going? Everything's good. How is Joab? What's the matter of the war? Verse 8. "And David said to Uriah, Go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house." So King David said, "Go wash yourself. Go anoint yourself. Right? Go put on your favorite garments, man. You're going to eat with me tonight." But Uriah slept at the king's door, man. He didn't even go home. He didn't touch his wife. He didn't see his kids. He didn't eat none of his food in the pantry somewhere. He didn't look at his flocks. Right? But what? Verse 10, "And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said to Uriah, Camest thou not from thy journey? Why Why then didst thou not go down into thy house? And Uriah said to David, the ark in Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into my own house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest and as thou so liveth, I will not do this thing. So he had integrity, man. He said, my people, my brothers are out there dropping blood for the Ark of the Covenant and for this nation. And you want me to go down to my house where my brothers are on the front lines, man? Isn't that the same spirit of when Joshua told the northern kingdom tribes, when he told Gad, told Reuben, on the other side of Jordan, and they said, why y'all sit here while your brothers go fight? You know, and that's what Moses said, man. Why your brothers go fight for their lands? Uriah wasn't going, man. Uriah said, look, man, I'm staying here while my nation fight. And that's the type of man you want on your team, man. It's the type of brother you want to have around you, man. It was easy for him to go over there and do that. You know, kind of turning up with King David and why all the Israel's at war right now, man. Right? Let me go to the book of 1 Samuel 25. Right? This 1 Samuel chapter 25 and verse 12. So David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told him all those things. And David said unto his men, gird you on every man his sword. And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded on his sword. And there went up a David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. So as soon as Nabal's words came back to King David about how he's impudent and all of these different things that, you know, the names he was calling King David, the first words David said was, gird you on every man his sword. And 400 men stood up, man. Without a question. They didn't question, they just got up because they was rolling with King David like that.
All right.
What you got to
Huh, this 2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse number 1. Right, because the same way you want to have wise, mighty men around you, you also don't want to have a fool around you who's going to counsel you to do wicked things. All right, this 2 Samuel 13 and 1. And it came to pass after this, that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister, whose name was Tamar, and Amnon, the son of David, loved her, which is off. That's his sister. It says, and Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her, but Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab. So it said Amnon had a friend. Now, Amnon, he's in love with his sister Tamar, which is off because again, that's your sister. And it's not the type of love where it's like, well, I love my sister, I'm gonna look out. No, it's the other type of love. He was lusting after his own sister, right? Verse 3 again. And Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man. And you can't have a man around you that's very subtle. He always finessing everybody. He trying to keep the commandments, but he trying to go through the commandments a little bit where he's saying he's not sinning. It's probably not expedient, but it's not a sin. You don't want to have that brother around you.
Right.
That it's not a sin type of spirit, but it's not expedient spirit.
Right.
Right. No, you want to have a man that's actually sincere, that wants to serve and be in good graces with the Lord. Not that's trying to find loopholes to keeping the commandments. Right? It said this man was very subtle. Verse 4. And he said unto him, why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. And Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on thy bed and make thyself sick. And when thy father cometh to thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come, and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it, and eat it at her hand. And that's all. So he's saying, hey, so since you want to get your sister, how about you play sick? Play sick and ask your father to bring your sister to you, and then at that moment, you can take advantage of her. That's wicked counsel. Why is this man around you? You don't want to have this man around you. This man is going to have to call you to air. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Kings, chapter 12. All right, this 1 Kings, chapter 12, and verse number 6. It says, and King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon, his father, while he yet lived, and said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant of this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants. So when you read this account, the northern kingdom, they was getting oppressed. So now as Rehoboam is coming to being the king, he's getting counsel from the wise elders. They saying, well, your father did this, maybe you should loosen up on them, and that's how your kingdom is going to prosper. Instead of having it divided, bring it together, which is wise counsel. Verse 8, it says, but he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. So he said, you know what, to hell with that counsel, I'm going to go to my guys that I grew up with when I was younger, right? His friends, his day ones. Reading on, it says, verse 9, and he said unto them, what counsel give ye, that ye may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter. And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people, that thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. So his counsels that he got from his friend was to put forth more affliction to his own people. And again, these are counsels from your friends. You shouldn't have friends give you wicked counsel.
They were in the truth.
Yeah, they were in the truth, literally. They knew that they was Israel. They was keeping the commandments, right? Amnon and Jonadab was keeping the commandments. Yet what? You still have men that's just they mind bad. You can't have that brother around you whose mind is just all bad. You still want to be buddy with him. Yeah, I know he told me to sleep with this man's wife because he you know what I'm saying, they're A, B, and C, but you know, and then you trying to justify it.
Right.
Well, that is my best friend. Surely you wouldn't tell me anything wrong. Brother, if it's not according to the precepts, don't follow it. Where is it in the Bible where it says get revenge on your brother? Right? If your brother do A, B, and C, then kill him on the spot. Have no mercy or pity. That's off. Right? That's wicked counsel. Let me get this real quick in 1 Corinthians. I believe that's chapter 5 and verse number 11. This 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse number 11. It says, let me see. I'm going to start at verse number 10. It says, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must he needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company if a man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner. With such an one, no, not to eat. Hey, so Paul is writing to the church. He said, if any man is any of these things, don't keep company with him. Right? Let me read verse 11 again. But I have written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator. So you can't be buddy with a fornicator.
Right.
Telling about he can that brother can just to repent. Right? You can't say brothers can repent. I know he's a fornicator. I know he's an idolater. I know he's an adulterer. He slept with A, B, and C's red. That's all. And you're still hanging around him. Right? Reading on, it says, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer. And he just rail and he talk about everybody. He backbiting, he sneak dissing. It says, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, and he's just getting drunk at every feast day, and you're egging them on to drink more. That's off. The Lord said, or Paul said through the Spirit of the Lord, don't be around these men. Don't keep company with these men. Yeah, they may be brothers, but don't be around them. Right? You got it.
Right. I got a precept about wicked counsel, man. Right. It's 1 Kings chapter 21. I'll start 1 Kings chapter 22 and verse 4. Right. So you have the king of Judah and the king of Israel link up to go against the king of Assyria. Right. And he said unto Jehoshaphat, wilt thou go with me to battle to Ramoth Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as thou art, my people as thy people, my horses as thy horses. Same people. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, inquire, I pray thee, at the word of the Lord today. So he gave him counsel to inquire at the word of the Lord. See, let's see what happened. Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men. There was 400 men. And said unto them, Shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, go up, for the Lord shall deliver into the hand of the king. So you have 400 men on one accord that said, look, when you go to the battle, you're going to win. There were a bunch of yes men, right? There were a bunch of yes men. Verse 7, that Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of the Lord besides, that we may inquire of him? So there's 400 men, but he read the spirit. He was like, these men, they're just saying what you want to hear. Is there another man that we can actually like get a real word of the Lord from? Verse 8, and the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, there is yet one man, Micaiah the son of Imlah, but by whom we may inquire of the Lord, but I hate him, for he doeth not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the king say so. So this man said, I hate him for telling the truth. I'd rather have these 400 men, because it sounds good to my itching ears that they said yes to everything that I asked, man. But this one man, Micaiah, he was like, nah. He always tell me that something bad gonna happen to me. Right. And it always happens. Well, maybe he's telling the truth, man. You know? But like the brother was saying, man, you want to watch, for different, false brethren, wicked counsel, being with people of the world, watching those that say they want to, that love you, want to be around you, but they only doing it for filthy deceit and lucre, man, right? Watch who you getting counsel from, and you just got to pray to the Most High that he sends you a brother, that's born for adversity in these last times. You got anything else? Nah. But we like to give our praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Lord willing, of a mighty Shabbat. You keep the Shabbat holy. Increase 1% every day. Right? You took adequate notes. Right? But we got to stay Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.